Thank you for joining us today. Let me share my screen real quick. Let's take a look at what else we can possibly display on a map. So unique visitors, total visits, total page views per visit. That is interesting. That is probably something that we can try. Bounce rate. That's something that when someone visits, it's mostly useful for applications where you do not have login. If they visit one page and leave immediately, that counts as a bounce, and you calculate bounce rate compared to total number of visit or sessions. So how many people just visited a single page of your website and left. And visit duration is also interesting. So let's see what we can do about views per visit or per session and visit duration. So I think this is something that is interesting. This is probably something that is going to be a little bit more complicated. And maybe this is something that we need to change in our collection data part, but let's start with views per visit, right? So let's take another look in the database and let's try to see what kind of SQL query we need, then create a new code snippet, and then we probably try to make it look a little bit more visually appealing. Okay, so let's go to our analytics table. Okay, that's our data. Yeah, here it is. So what we're looking for is we probably need to calculate how many entries we have on average, how many page visits per sessions do we have. So let's get cracking. So select all from by session ID. Okay, it probably doesn't make much sense like this. We need to, okay, let's do it this way. Session ID and count like this. So it's probably going to make a little bit more sense. Okay, so this gives us some interesting information. So when you see count as 1, that's a bounce. We can use it to calculate a percentage of bounces. So total we have, how many records do we have? 14 records. So 5 deleted, 5 divided by 14 will give us our bounce rate. So that is also something interesting. And what else? Average pages per visit. So how do we calculate this? So we probably need to use this as a subquery, right? And we need to run another query on the top of this data. So that's going to be a subquery, right? And probably we need to alias it as C. It's going to be a little bit easier. And let's see, select. Let's be blunt. Let's just do it something like this. So I'm like really experimenting right now, and my experimentation did not. Okay, what about this? If we do it, okay, it makes sense. Yeah, so when you use a subquery, you need to add an alias for the subquery so you can refer to it, even if we do not refer to this subquery in any way here. That is required. Okay, so our average number of visits is 11. So let's see if we can round it up to 2. So what they do here, only use the single digits after the period before we put it into our code. So truncate, and we only need a single digit. Perfect. Let's take a look at our code snippets on the dashboard. By the way, this is why it is important to exclude service pages, because these are not really pages that our users visit, so we do not really need to count those if we want our statistic to be not necessarily precise. Let's exclude the dashboard itself, right? Let me go back here, URL of the dashboard. Okay. Okay, we go to the page designer, and on the dashboard page, we have a code snippet. Probably need to rename them, but it's okay. Okay, let's split this one more time. And let me take a quick look at this code here. Let's insert another code snippet, but we'll be cool about it, and we give it a reasonable name, pages per visit, so we can actually understand what we're doing here. And our SQL query is going to be like this. Pages per visit. And that's our SQL query. Makes sense. Okay. Let's test it real quick. And then maybe we can do a bounce rate, even though it's fairly meaningless in our application, but it's okay. Okay, reload the page. And pages per visit right here. So it makes sense. Okay, let's do bounce rate, and then we will talk about how we can style it so it looks a little bit better. I have a few ideas here, that none of them is perfect, but we need to start somewhere, right? So pages per visit, let's do our bounce rate, and let's modify our SQL query and see how we can get. Okay, so we are going back to what we have here. Okay. So what we're looking for, we need to divide number of ones by the total number of entries here, which is 14. Damn it, it does work. Okay. We can do this, and we can also do truncate, and we just need to number something like this. 35%. Bounce rate is 35%. So, okay. Code snippet. Okay, we need to split it again. Yes. So I was thinking about, okay, let's code snippet, bounce rate. Okay. And our SQL query is here. So we are replacing that SQL query with this one. With bounce rate, and we need to add a percent sign at the end. So we can just do it this way. Yeah, managing 5 code snippets in the same line, it's not very convenient. I was thinking, like, if you want to make it look better in the generated application, probably instead of using 5 different code snippets, you just need to use a single snippet, and then you can avoid unnecessary borders and everything. But we will try to make it a little bit better already using this way. So let's take another look at this. Okay, so I mean, it's not bad. It just make numbers a little bit bigger. Let's see if we can do it using CSS. And what else we can do? We can maybe make instead of using white on blue, which is kind of heavy for eyes, we can change it to the snippets to have a white background and black or gray font, maybe, and we can make a little bit, increase the numbers, make it a little bit larger. Right, let's do this, and that will be probably going to do it in on a style editor screen, custom CSS. Okay, let's try. What else I can do? Copy selection. Okay. Okay, and we will make it a little bit more specific, so it only applies to this dashboard or to panels on a dashboard, maybe on any dashboards. Okay, so color is going to be grayish, background color, we'll make it white, right? And probably makes sense if we make it just in case, right? That was good. And what else? Okay, let's try and use, okay, copy selector. So let's try and use this kind of selector. So we don't want to, yeah, hopefully it works. That's one lone selector. Okay, we don't care. So I hope it's going to work. So we'll start with this. Yeah, it seems to be working here. Just use some random numbers, but let's see if it's going to work, and then we can. Okay, let's reload the page. Let's see if our CSS is being applied. Okay, I was setting breakpoint here. I don't need that. Okay, seems to be working. So we need to try and remove this line here, maybe borders, or just make them those borders, also lighter. And let's try and increase the size of the actual data because it is the most important piece of information here, right? And it needs to be clearly visible. So that's our panel body, right? So that's, I guess that's the selector that we're looking for. Copy selector. So you see, the selector is very, very specific, very, very long, but what it gives us, it will be only applied to dashboard. So this way we do not afraid to break the appearance of other elements on the of our project. So it makes sense. So font size, let's try 120% and font weight will make it bold. So it's probably going to make sense. So let's try to reload it, and if it's going to be applied to everything, yeah, definitely looks better. Okay, one last try. Let's try to remove this this border between the cells. So I don't know how it is implemented. We need to panel body. So I don't really know. It's padding, or the padding is also too big. So maybe we will need to decrease padding for both body and heading. We can do that. That's not a big deal. What else? What else? So it's where those borders are coming from. What about this one? Okay, something like this is probably going to work. And we just need to decrease padding, especially vertical part of it. Okay, no border. Padding top. Okay, 5, 15, 5, 15. Like this. Okay, makes sense. Okay, that was for the panel header. So let's do this. And something similar for the body itself. So at the top, it's going to be just 5. Bottom can be 10, something like this. Okay, let's give it a try, and I hope it makes sense. And we can come back maybe in 2-3 weeks and work on this project again. I have a few more ideas of what we can do. I just don't want it to be an exclusive project that we're working on. So what else? What else? It already looks better, right? Probably less space between these two, maybe one last thing. Okay, slightly bigger. Okay, so that's top. We pushed it down, and here, let's do maybe 2 pixels and 2 pixels like this, something like this. So it's probably going to be a little bit better. Yeah, I have quite a few ideas for next tutorials planned, so I didn't publish the schedule yet. I just don't want to, I just want to diversify a little bit of what we're doing so we can do more stuff that will be interesting to different people. So it's not bad. I mean, it can be better, but it's already not that bad, right? I think it's reasonable.